If you've just decided that you want to enter the world of African cichlids, you've probably got a million questions all about the fish. Well, you're going to want to watch this video series because this is made just for you. Hi folks, my name is John Hudson. I'm with KGTropicals in King George, Virginia. You can also find us at www.kgtropicals.com. And this is part one in a video series all about buying African cichlids. Making sure that you make the right choice when you're ready to order your first fish or go down to the pet store and buy your first fish. So stay tuned, we're gonna have some fun. Hey folks, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to try to familiarize you with the different types of African cichlids that are out there. Now there's only about 1,400 different varieties, so it's not like I'm going to be able to show them all to you, but I'll give you a good idea of what you can expect to see when you go down to your local pet store or when you go on www.kgtropicals.com to order up your first group of African cichlids. Now if you're brand new to this, you need to watch this video. But even if you're somebody who's been in this hobby for decades, you might still be able to see something cool in this series of videos, so you should definitely keep watching. The first thing that we need to talk about though is why. Why are we doing this video? Why am I sitting in a store that's full 75% of African cichlids? Well, in my opinion, I don't have any factual data, but in my opinion, African cichlids are the hottest thing going right now. And they have been for quite a while. And the main reason is color. We have people come into this store every day, and the first thing out of their mouth is, wow, I wish I could keep a tank like that, but I don't know how to take care of a saltwater tank. These people are thrilled when they find out that it's not a saltwater tank, it's freshwater, these are African cichlids, and we got them all right here waiting for you. So the colors are second only to saltwater aquariums. So all of the different colors, the blues, the reds, the yellows, you can get all of this variety in your tank and it makes for an absolutely beautiful aquarium. That is one of the biggest draws of African cichlids. Now another, we all love when we come home from work and our dog goes crazy. The dog's wagging his tail and going nuts because we just walked in the door. We love that. Well, these fish do that too. Now, to be honest, it's because they think you're gonna feed them. But still, they go crazy. You walk up to the tank and they just go absolutely bananas. That's another huge draw to these fish. So personality, activity level, colors, these are the primary things. Now the other thing that's really neat, and you can see it in this tank behind me, is variety. You don't have to have a bunch of the same fish. You can have all different colors, all different sizes, lengths, heights, some are fat, some are skinny. There's definitely variety. So between color, variety, activity, that's what makes them such a big draw. And the fact that you really do need to put a whole bunch of them in your tank to keep it cohesive and keep everybody getting along. So where do these fish come from? Where do they originate? Let's talk about that. Okay, so where do these unbelievable fish come from? Well, let's not get it twisted, folks. 99% of the fish that are available in the market today when it comes to African cichlids are going to be tank-raised fish. So none of these fish have ever seen the lakes of Africa. But when we talk about their origins, we got to talk about Africa. Pretty obvious, right? But they're going to break down into 4 different groups from Africa. Now, the experienced African cichlid keeper is going, wait a minute, John, there's only 3 lakes. That's true. But we're going to break them down into 4 groups. The first thing we're going to talk about are the lakes. We have Lake Malawi, which would be what produces most of your fish that are popular in the African cichlid hobby. We have Lake Victoria, and we have Lake Tanganyika. Now these are the 3 primary lakes that your African cichlids that you're going to find at your pet store come from. But the 4th category would be the everything else category. There are a lot of fish out there that are labeled as African cichlids, and it's because they come from that continent, but they're not grouped in with those other 3 lakes. We're talking about things like Madagascar cichlids. We're talking about jewel cichlids, which everybody gets confused because a lot of pet stores will label them as African cichlids, but they're not from Lake Malawi, Victoria, or Tanganyika, but they do originate from Africa. So these are not necessarily the African cichlids that we have become accustomed to, and they will not work in your Malawi or your Tanganyikan tank. We're going to talk about that later. But there's the 4 different groups. the 3 lakes and everything else. So most of your fish, like I said, the ones that are the most popular in the hobby are going to be from Lake Malawi. Now, I put together a little slideshow here for you of different types out there. I've got all 3 lakes that I can show you. It's not the longest thing in the world, but I'll give you a really good idea of the way these fish break down, because each lake has its own set of fish that come from it too. So we don't want to get too overwhelming here, but let's take a look at this slideshow and give you a good idea of the different types of fish from the different lakes. Okay, so we're going to look at all 3 lakes here. We're starting off with Lake Malawi, and Lake Malawi breaks down into its own 3 groups of fish. The first that we're looking at here is the peacocks. The first one that we saw there was a German red peacock, and this is the bicolor 500 peacock. Now, what's interesting about peacocks is they're just like birds. The males are going to be the brightly colored, beautiful fish. The females are going to be kind of a grayish brown color, not really going to show the vibrant colors that the males do. We're looking at here a flavescent peacock, gorgeous yellow body, blue fins, blue face. And then the female, which is going to come into the screen here in a minute, is just kind of brown. You know, not the most attractive fish in the world, but still a nice looking fish. They're all nice, but not quite as pretty as the males. Now, we move on here to haplochromans, which we all call HAPS for short. This is a gorgeous red empress male. He's about 7 inches long. He was in the tank all by himself there. Now we go on to the Taiwan Reef Hap. Now these guys are not in the perfect tank. They're not showing the perfect colors, but they are an absolute rainbow of colors. One of my personal favorite haps. Females, very nice looking fish, but again, not as brightly colored as the males. Now, don't let these little guys here fool you, because these are practically babies that are going to eventually grow into very large, some of them in the 10 to 11 inch range, particularly these, which are the Venustus, one of the more popular African cichlids, also known as the giraffe cichlid, but very few people call them that. We're moving on here to MBUNAS, which would be the third, probably the most popular category or group of the 3 from Lake Malawi, all different colors. The good thing about MBUNAS is that the males and the females, for the most part, look the same, except for when we get to Kenyai, and there are a few others. This is the Kenyai mbuna. The males are the yellow ones, the females are blue, and they stay blue forever. These are one of the few mbunas that the females and the males actually do look different. These are cobalt blue zebras. Again, males are blue, females are blue. And these are they look just like the cobalt blues, but those are actually the CICHLIDS. Again, very nice looking fish, very bright colors. These are just babies, so they're not really showing the best colors that they can show. Now we're moving on to Lake Victoria. One of the characteristics of Lake Victorian fish is the colors. Most of them have a rainbow of colors. This is the Pundamilla nererai, and the dark fish there that was on the left is the male. He's looking right at us. He's almost black with the red fins. Absolutely breathtaking. We get so many people wanting to buy him, but he's a breeding fish, so we don't sell him. These are the zebra obliquitans. We sell a ton of these. They're absolutely gorgeous. Males are going to have that big red belly. The females are going to be a nice looking zebra type stripe on them. Absolutely gorgeous. But let's talk about probably the most popular fish in the African cichlid hobby, the frontosa from Lake Tanganyika. Now, there are hundreds of fish that come from Tanganyika. We don't have a whole bunch of them. So really all I can show you is just a couple that come from Tanganyika, and the frontosa would probably be the most popular by far, and I don't even think it's the most popular Tanganyikan. I think the frontosa is the most popular African cichlid, period. Look at those fish. You can see why. I don't even need to explain to you why they're so popular. Now we're moving on to this little guy here. One of my personal favorites. This is an Altolamprologus compressiceps. I call them altos. Absolutely gorgeous. You won't find those too many places. You gotta love them. Look at that thing. Welcome back again. I hope you enjoyed the slideshow. I hope that gave you a good idea of the different types of Africans that are out there. We got a whole lot more to talk about, folks. We're going to talk about behavior. We're going to talk about who can go with who. But we can't do it all in one video. So definitely subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episode. Or if you're on the website, just go one more video down and take a look at part 2 in this video series, because we're going to start talking about what you can mix together and how you can do all of this to set up a beautiful African cichlid tank of your own. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.